Luka Doncic is one of the best offensive players we've ever seen, but defense has never been his strength. So today we're flipping the script and building an elite defensive team around Luka Doncic to find out what happens when unstoppable offense meets lockdown defense. And that means we're going to have to pull off a bunch of trades to go get ourselves some good defenders to pair up with Luka Doncic. The only two players that'll remain on this team as of right now are Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt, and that's because they're both lockdown defenders. So now let's go see which trades we can pull off to go get ourselves some good elite defenders. The first player I'm going to be targeting is none other than Dyson Daniels, who was on first team all defense in the 2024-25 season. He can be the starting shooting guard going forward, and we're going to attempt to send the Atlanta Hawks Austin Reeves for Dyson Daniels, and they do decline. They want Maxi Kleber and a first round pick for Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Dyson Daniels. Let's go ahead and pull off this trade. The next elite defender we're going to be targeting is none other than Bam Adebayo. He's been a great defender his whole career and will definitely be able to help out our team. We're going to attempt to send them LeBron James, where the salaries do match even though we're saving ourselves $15 million, which is a bonus for us. So let's see what the Miami Heat say if we send them LeBron James for Bam Adebayo, and they accept just like that, no picks needed to be involved. The next elite defender I'm targeting is Jaden McDaniels to be our brand new starting small forward. Let's see if the Minnesota Timberwolves will accept this trade for Rui Hachimura, which I highly doubt they will, but might as well try. So they want Marcus Smart, and that we cannot do since we want Marcus Smart on our team. And yeah, they want him pretty badly. Let's see if there's any way around this. What if we throw in someone like Gabe Vincent, and we don't actually have to take back another player either? Now they want Jake LaRavia for Dante DiVincenzo. We'll do that because Dante DiVincenzo is a really good perimeter defender as well. And our starting lineup is starting to look elite defensively, but there's one last position to upgrade, and that is going to be our starting center position. And I already have the player in mind we're going to be targeting, and that will be Walker Kessler. Let's see what the Utah Jazz say. They want Nickeil Alexander-Walker for George Niang. Let's see if we throw in a first round pick, and they accept just like that. So it didn't take all that much to get ourselves a Walker Kessler, one first round pick, and DeAndre Ayton is all it took. I want to see if we can get Mitchell Robinson to be the backup center on this team. We're going to offer the New York Knicks Jackson Hayes and Bronny James Jr. for Mitchell Robinson, and they accept. We don't have any more first round picks remaining, so that means to pull off big trades like going after players like Amen Thompson, we're going to have to wait until the offseason where I can acquire some first round picks and then go and target those players. But the last player we're going to be targeting as of right now is none other than Luka Doncic from the OKC Thunder, and I'm going to be offering them Dante DiVincenzo and Nick Smith Jr. for Dort, and they accept. Just like that, our team is looking elite. After all the trades we pulled off, this is what the 9-man rotation will be looking like. The starting lineup is going to include Luka Doncic, Dyson Daniels, Jaden McDaniels, Bam Adebayo, and Walker Kessler. And then off the bench, we have Luke Dort, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Mitchell Robinson, and Marcus Smart. I also want to give a huge shout out to Marshmallow Bruno Mars 8121, who gave me the idea to make this video, so a huge shout out to you, bro. And now let's go ahead and simulate the first few games and see just how we do with this new rotation. Game 1 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, we do lose and we allow them to score 128 points. What about game 2? We do end up beating the Sacramento Kings, where we held them to 111 points. Bam Adebayo had 30, Luka had 24, and 24 from Dyson Daniels. We're going to be running on a 4-star system proficiency balanced under JJ Redick. It's contract extension day, and we're going to be extending Luke Dort on a 2-year contract, which he accepts, and we also need to extend Mitchell Robinson, which we'll do for the next 3 seasons, and he will accept as well. At the end of season number 1, our boy Luka Doncic wins MVP, his first ever MVP, averaging 32 points per game, 8 rebounds, 10 assists, 1.5 steals, shooting 50, 40, 74. He had a great season, and hopefully he can continue this into the playoffs. Igor Demin wins Rookie of the Year, TJ McConnell 6th Man of the Year, Wemby Defensive Player, Kel'el Ware wins Most Improved, Jalen Brunson, clutch player, JJ Redick, coach of the year, and we also win executive of the year. And of course, Luka Doncic makes it on all NBA first team. Let's see if we have any more selections. And that is pretty surprising. We don't get a single player on all defensive team. But the reason for that is in 2K simulation, all defensive teams matter more if you have more blocks per game or steals per game. And since we have so many good defenders, obviously all of those stats are being split between a bunch of good defenders. But that's going to be it for awards, and we did end the season being the #1 seed, winning 62 games and losing only 20. Let's take a look at how our team did defensively throughout the regular season. So offensively, we were the #1 best team offensively, scoring 124 points per game. And defensively, we were the 4th best defense, allowing 110 points per game. So there were 3 teams better than us defensively, which were the LA Clippers, Mavericks, and Warriors. But we were still a really good defensive team. We have the highest point differential with 13.6. We weren't making many 3-pointers since we don't have too many good shooters on this team, but that is alright, of course, since we were the #1 seed. And in round 1 here, we're going to be taking on the LA Clippers, who have James Harden, Bradley Beal, Kawhi Leonard, John Collins, and Zubac. So it's the Battle of Los Angeles. Let's see if we can win a championship in the first season of this rebuild. Game #1 does go to the Clippers. The Clippers did have a better defense than us in the regular season, so this team is definitely going to be hard to defeat, even though they're the #8 seed. Let's see how things go here. We do win game #2. Luka Doncic had 24 points, and we held them to 85 points, but they held us to 87. Whoa. Amazing defense from both teams here. Less than 100 points scored from both of us. Game #3 goes to us. We score 158, but we also allow 149 points from them. Luka Doncic had 56, 8, and 10. And here are the rest of the stats. Game #4 goes to us. We're up 3-1 just like that. Our defense was good here, holding them to 103 points. Luka Doncic 28, 8, and 9. 27 from Bam Adebayo. And I forgot to show you guys the player stats in the regular season, so let me show you guys how we did in the regular season. Here are the player stats. Luka Doncic did lead the way with 32 points per game, and Bam Adebayo was absolutely balling out, averaging a career high 24 points per game, and the rest of the team was amazing as well. But now let's continue the playoffs, and we gentlemen sweep the Clippers to advance to the next round. And in round 2, we're going to be taking on the Golden State Warriors. They have themselves Stephen Curry, Brendan Pajemski, Gary Payton, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. And this is their bench. So the team we went up against in the first round was better defensively than us in the regular season, and the Warriors were another team that did better than us defensively. I believe the Warriors were the best defensive team if I'm not mistaken, and yeah, they were literally the #1 best defensive team, allowing 106 points per game. Let's see what happens. Game #1 does go to us. Bam Adebayo, the 34-point double-double. Luka Doncic with 26. We do end up losing game 2 here, sadly. Steph Curry balls out here, dropping 42 points on our head. Luka had 32, but sadly, it wasn't enough. I was checking out our player stats. There's a lot of players not playing well. Dyson Daniels is one of them. He's shooting below 10% from the 3-point line and 35% from the field. Jaden McDaniels is struggling as well, so I did bench him for Luke Dort, and we'll see if that makes a difference. Game #3 does go to the Warriors as well, and we allow Curry to score 48 points. Luka had a 35-point double-double, Bam had 27 and 16, but we do fall short. We do tie up the series here. We allow Curry to score 40 points once again, but luckily Bam Adebayo and Luka Doncic were able to close it here. Bam had 38, Luka had 24 and 16. What I think we're going to do is come up with a defensive coach game plan for Curry because he's absolutely balling out. In the last 3 games, he scored over 40 points. So I would much rather have Dyson Daniels guarding Steph Curry than Luka guarding Steph Curry, so let's change that up. And there we go. For the defensive coach game plan, I put Dyson Daniels on Stephen Curry, so he'll be guarding him the whole time, and hopefully that can slow Curry down. We do end up winning game 5 here to put us up 3-2, but Curry still had 45 points on Dyson Daniels. That is insane. Luka Doncic 26, Bam Adebayo 22, and we win in game 6, and there we go. We were able to hold Curry to only 19 points there. Luka had 28, Bam with 18, Jaden McDaniels with 16, and just like that, we're in the conference finals. We're going to be taking on the Houston Rockets. They have themselves Fred VanVleet, Amin Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alperen Şengün. Amin Thompson is a player we're probably going to be targeting this offseason. He's an elite defender, so it would be nice to have him here on our team. Let's see if we'll be advancing to the NBA Finals. Game 1, the Houston Rockets do end up defeating us here, and they hold us to 87 points. Whoa. We do win game number 2. We hold them to 93 points here, so our defense was on point. And they win game 3, sadly, by almost 40 points. Holy, what is going on here? They're up 3-1, just like that. KD is just destroying us here. They almost win. Well, they do win by 31 points. And are they going to gentlemen sweep us? No, they won't, but they do defeat us in game 6. So clearly things still need to be upgraded in order for us to be championship contenders, and the Houston Rockets go on to win, with Şengün winning finals MVP. So KD goes on to win his first ever championship with the Warriors, and it looks like people can't hold that above his head any longer. Looking at the player stats for the playoffs, we only had 4 players in double-digit scorings, and the 2 of them were only averaging about 10 points per game. So what we're going to have to do this offseason is get some players that are good two-way players that can also score but defend. Because right now we have a lot of good defensive players, but not many offensive players. And obviously we also need good offensive players in order for us to win a championship. Player retirements, here are the players that will be retiring. LeBron James retires on Miami Heat, a team he won multiple championships with. So that's pretty nice to see him retire with them. And if you guys are enjoying this video so far, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new for more NBA 2K26 rebuilds. We're going to be trading away this dude here for a first round pick from the Atlanta Hawks, and what I'm going to do is sign a bunch of players in free agency, trade them away and acquire some first round picks. That way we could go target some more good defensive players to bring on this team. And we won't be having any first round picks in this year's NBA draft, so let's go to team player options and see what we have to do. No team player options here. What about qualifying offers? We will need to bring back Walker Kessler, and that's probably going to be the biggest signing for this offseason. We luckily do have bird rights on him, and we're going to extend him on a 4-year contract. We'll pay him around $15 million a year. And let's see if he will accept that, and he will. So we're going to be re-signing Walker Kessler on a 4-year, $60 million contract. I signed a bunch of players here in free agency. As I said, I'm going to be trading them away for first round picks, and then we're going to attempt to pull off a pretty big trade this off season. We can get 2 first round picks for Chris Paul. Let's pull off that trade, and I'll show you guys which trade I'm going to be cooking up after I acquire all these first round picks. The first trade I'm attempting to pull off is getting ourselves Toumani Camara, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Could either be our starting small forward or backup small forward, depending on how Jaden McDaniels plays. But we're going to be offering them Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and they do decline, but that's why we got ourselves some first round picks. 1 first round pick, they'll still decline. 2 first round picks, they're still going to decline, which is kind of a surprise. I don't want to give up 3 first round picks for Camara, but if we have to, I will. What if we throw in a player like Tim Hardaway Jr. and that gets the trade done? Jaden McDaniels absolutely choked come playoff time. He was shooting around 30% from the field, so we're attempting to trade him away, hopefully to the OKC Thunder, for Chet Holmgren, who was on first team all defense in the 2025-26 season. So let's see what the OKC Thunder say for this trade if we send them Jaden McDaniels, Ben Simmons, and 3 first-round picks for Chet Holmgren. And they accept. Just like that, we get ourselves Chet Holmgren on this team paired up with Luka Doncic. And the next player we're going to attempt to get is none other than Amen Thompson from the Houston Rockets. So let's try pulling off a trade here with the Rockets to get ourselves Amen Thompson as a brand new starting small forward. We're gonna attempt to give them Dalton Connect and Mitchell Robinson, which of course they do decline, but that's why we got ourselves a bunch of first round picks. 3 first round picks gets it done, and just like that, we now have ourselves Amen Thompson, Chet Holmgren, Bam Adebayo, Luka Doncic, and Dyson Daniels as our starting lineup. Here we are at the start of this season with a new and upgraded 9-man rotation. The starting lineup is going to include Luka Doncic, Dyson Daniels, Amen Thompson, Bam Adebayo, and Chet Holmgren, and then off the bench we have Walker Kessler, Tamani Kamara, Luke Dort, and Marcus Smart. We're running with a 9-man rotation. Currently Chet Holmgren will be the starting center, but we can always switch him with Bam Adebayo and run Chet Holmgren at the 4 if we'd like to. Let's see what the system proficiency will be looking like. So it's right now on pace and space. But I will change that to balanced where it's going to be 4.5 stars. And I also did change our head coach, which I forgot to mention. We got rid of JJ Redick and now we have Michael Stauffer as a brand new head coach. Let's go ahead and simulate the first few games and see how we do. Game 1 against the Utah Jazz, we beat them by 2 points. Luka had 37, Bam with 26, Daniels with 17. Chet Holmgren in his debut had 12 points. Let's see how we do against the Spurs, and we also defeat the San Antonio Spurs. Luka had 31, Amen Thompson had 21 and 10, Kamara had 19, Chet Holmgren with 13, and Daniels with 17. I think this season we're definitely championship contenders. We just held the Bucks to 89 points here. Luka Doncic had 33 and we scored 151 points. That is amazing. Luka had 33, Bam at 24, Thompson with 20, and the rest of the team was amazing as well. Now I'm going to continue the simulation. We'll see how we do. If there's any trades to be made, I'll be stopping at the trade deadline to show you guys. Both Luka Doncic and Chet Holmgren are in the race to winning MVP. Let's see which one of the two will be winning it here, and it's Luka Doncic winning his second MVP back-to-back, averaging 30 points per game, 7 rebounds, 12 assists, 1.5 steals, shooting 50, 40, 80. Another amazing season from Luka Doncic, averaging a career high 12 assists per game. Cam Boozer wins Rookie of the Year, Trey Johnson 6th Man of the Year, Victor Wembanyama wins Defensive Player of the Year, AJ Johnson Most Improved, Cameron Thomas Clutch Player, Michael Stauffer, our head coach, wins Coach of the Year, and we also win Executive of the Year. And of course, the MVP is on All-NBA First Team. Let's see if we get any more selections here. So we do not, but we do get 2 players on All Defensive Second Team. We get Chet Holmgren and Amen Thompson. Let's go. And of course, we were the number 1 seed. We won a total of 72 games and losing only 10. Let's go see how our team did defensively this season. Were we the best defensive team or not? We were the number 1 offensive team, averaging 132 points per game. So clearly getting the players we did helped out our offense. But now let's see our defense. So we were the 3rd best defensive team, better than we were the previous season. Last season, I believe we were the 4th best defensive team. So we did move up at least. The only 2 teams were the New York Knicks and Mavericks ahead of us. Plus, we made a lot more 3-pointers than the last season. But in round 1 here, we're going to be taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, who have Ja Morant, Cedric Howard, Jalen Wells, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Zach Edey. Let me also show you guys the player stats of our team in the regular season. So of course, Luka Doncic was leading the way with 30 points per game. And then we had Chet Holmgren averaging 23 points per game, 8 boards, 2.5 blocks, shooting 50, 40, 79. Bam Adebayo 18 points, 17.5 from Amen Thompson. He had himself a great season as well. And so did the rest of the team. This season we were a lot better than the previous. But can we win a championship? Let's find out. Game number 1 does go to us. And this time we held the Memphis Grizzlies to 95 points. Luka had a triple-double, Holmgren had 27, and Bam had 21. And we held them, Jaren Jackson Jr. to 6 of 17 shooting. Game number 2 also goes to us. We scored 160 points here in game 2. Luka had nearly 50 points, 34 from Chet. Can we go up 3-0? Yes, we do. And we sweep the Memphis Grizzlies to go up in the second round against the San Antonio Spurs. They have De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, and Victor Wembanyama. It's a battle of Chet Holmgren versus rival Victor Wembanyama. Which one will win? Game 1 does go to us. Bam drops 30 points, Doncic with 29, and Chet with 26. Wemby only had 7 points. He did foul out in 16 minutes though. Game number 2 goes to us as well. Luka drops a 39-point triple-double, Chet Holmgren with 33. Wemby had almost a triple-double himself. Game 3 also goes to us, and we go on to sweep the San Antonio Spurs to advance to the conference finals. And we're going to be taking on the Dallas Mavericks, who have Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively II. We haven't lost a single game here in the playoffs. Let's see what happens up against the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks are a difficult team to defeat in simulation, so let's see. Game number 1 does go to the Dallas Mavericks. Sadly, AD had 27, Kyrie with 27. Game 2 does go to us though. Luka drops 32 points, Chet Holmgren with a 29-point double-double, Bam with 23. And I totally forgot, Luka Doncic is going up against his former team, the Dallas Mavericks, a team that traded him away and basically betrayed him. So hopefully we're able to get Luka Doncic his revenge. Game 3 does go to the Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to come up with a defensive coach game plan before we continue. I want a good defender on Cooper Flag, Kyrie, and Anthony Davis. I came up with a defensive coach game plan. Will that help us win this next game to tie up the series? The Mavericks will have home court advantage, and so far it's a really close battle here, but the the Mavericks do end up defeating us by 7 points. Luka had 29, Holmgren had 17, 16 from Daniels. And let's see how their team did. So our defense was really good on their big 3, but we still end up losing. They played better defense than we did. And just like that, we're down 3-1 against the Mavericks, but can we win this next game? We will luckily have home court advantage, and we start off really strong in the first half defensively, and we do end up winning by 30 points. Luka Doncic had 33, Bam had 24, Daniels had 21, and Holmgren had 21 as well. How was our defense? We did hold Kyrie Irving to 5 of 13 shooting, but he did have 12 assists. Now let's see if we can tie up the series to push it to a game 7. The Mavericks will have home court advantage, and so far they do have the lead, and they're up by 11 points. Let's slow this down a little bit and see what happens. Can we come back here in the fourth quarter? We are pushing back, and we take the lead from them. We're up by 2 points. We are starting to run away with it. In the fourth quarter, we end up winning this game by 11 points. I thought it was over, but we did luckily come back in the fourth quarter. Luka had 36, Dyson Daniels had 22, Chet Holmgren with 21. Cooper Flag is absolutely balling out for their team. Yeah, he just put up 36 points. Kyrie had 15. Where is Anthony Davis? So we did play pretty good defense on AD. We made him score only 7 points here. And just like that, it's tie series going to game 7. And over in the Eastern Conference Finals, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers versus Atlanta Hawks, and they're also going to a game 7. I changed up some shot tendencies depending on how our players are playing in the conference finals. It's time for game 7. We do have home court advantage. Can we win this game to advance to the NBA Finals? And so far we do have the lead by quite a bit, and we end up winning by more than 50 points, almost 60 points we won by. We held the Mavericks to all 89 points. Luka had 48 points, 21 assists, 9 rebounds. Chet Holmgren had 28, 15, as well as 5 blocks. Let's check out the defense. We held Anthony Davis to 7 of 16 shooting, 6 of 13 for Russell, 5 of 14 for Thompson, and 5 of 13 for Kyrie. Cooper Flag 2 of 9. Luka Doncic wins Western Conference Finals MVP, averaging 31 and 15 assists as well as 2 steals on really good efficiency. Evan Mobley wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Evan Mobley was a player I was planning on getting, but then we ended up trading for Chet Holmgren. Evan Mobley won Defensive Player of the Year, so obviously he's a really good defender as well. We're taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers here in the NBA Finals, who have Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. And this is their bench unit. Will we be winning a championship? Fingers crossed we do. Game number 1 goes to us. Luka Doncic puts up 36 points, Chet with 21 and 11, Thompson with 20. Game number 2 goes to us as well. This time Chet Holmgren leads the way with 27. Luka with the double-double. Bam had 14. Game number 3 goes to us, and just like that, we're up 3-0. Luka Doncic dropped 50 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists. Thompson with 19, Chet with 19 and 11. Are we going to sweep the Cleveland Cavaliers? And just like that, the Los Angeles Lakers have won the championship. Luka Doncic wins Finals MVP, averaging 35 points per game, 6 boards, and 12 assists. Our team is absolutely amazing. Let me show you guys the player stats for the playoffs. So Luka Doncic, for the 19 games we played in the playoffs, was averaging 33 points per game. Chet Holmgren as a second option has been great. He's averaging 26 points per game, 16 from Bam, 15 from Amin, and 15 from Daniels. And here are the NBA final stats. Let's see how our team did defensively in the playoffs and offensively. So offensively, we were the number 1 offense, averaging 135 points per game, which is pretty insane. And we were allowing 114 points per game, and that was the 3rd best defense in the league, behind the Timberwolves and the Warriors. Qualifying offers, we do have to bring back Amin Thompson, which is a pretty big signing for our team since he is a important piece of our starting lineup. So let's see how much he wants. He wants $45 million. That's a lot of money, but there are teams offering him that. So I am going to go ahead and offer him a 5-year contract, player option on the 5th year. And is he interested in our offer? He is not, but he's a restricted free agent, so we can match that contract. So yeah, we're going to be getting Amin Thompson on a 3-year, $125 million contract. And I totally forgot, but Marcus Smart is a free agent as well, and he doesn't want all that much money, so we are going to offer him a contract. I also offered Keon Ellis a contract. He's an elite perimeter defender as well. We'll also offer Marcus Smart a contract. We don't need Jose Alvarado, so let's scratch that, but we do get Keon Ellis and Marcus Smart. We basically already have our team filled out with the best defensive players. We have 2 really good defensive big men. We have an elite defensive power forward, 2 good defensive small forwards, 2 good defensive shooting guards. And now I want Andrew Nembhard to be the backup point guard. He's at 84 overall, so he will be an upgrade from Marcus Smart, but we will still be keeping Marcus Smart on this team. But Andrew Nembhard will be the 6th man as the backup point guard. He has an A+ perimeter defense, so let's see if we can acquire him, sending the Indiana Pacers Keon Ellis, Adam Bonner, Jared Vanderbilt, and Dorian Finney-Smith. And they do decline, so let's throw in some first-round picks, and we do get the trade done to acquire Andrew Nembhard as a brand new backup point guard. At the start of this season, this is going to be our 9-man rotation. The starting lineup will include Luka Doncic, Dyson Daniels, Amin Thompson, Chet Holmgren, and Bam Adebayo. Then off the bench, we have Walker Kessler, Andrew Nembhard, Toumani Camara, and Luke Dort. Another bonus of having Andrew Nembhard is we can always start him at the starting shooting guard position in case Dyson Daniels is not shooting the ball well like he did in the 25-26 season. So now we have a backup point guard / shooting guard in case we need him to be in the starting lineup. But let's go ahead and simulate the first week and see how we do. We end up winning all 4 games. The first 2 games we held both teams to 100 points. Then we scored 159 points against the Atlanta Hawks, where Luka had 28 and 17 assists on 0 turnovers. Camara had 25 points in 19 minutes, Chet Holmgren had 24, Thompson had a 20-point double-double, and so did Bam Adebayo. Let's see the system proficiency. We're going to be running on a 4.5 star system proficiency under Michael Stauffer. This season, we end up winning the NBA Cup, and Chet Holmgren wins NBA Cup MVP, averaging nearly 35 points per game, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.5 steal, and 3.5 blocks, shooting 60, 50, 80. Let's see who we defeated here to win the NBA Cup, and we defeated the Atlanta Hawks. Luka Doncic had a 25-point double-double, Chet had a 25-point double-double, and Bam Adebayo had 29. We held the Atlanta Hawks to 97 points. I'm stopped here at the contract extension day, and we have a lot of contract extensions to give out. The first one is going to be to Luka Doncic. The second one will be to Bam Adebayo. And then we also need to bring back Andrew Nembhard and Luke Dort. He only wanted the minimum contract. Let's go. That's a lot less than I would have expected. It looks like Luka Doncic is going to be winning MVPs this whole video. He wins his 3rd MVP in a row, this time averaging 27.5 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 12 assists, 1.5 steal, shooting 50, 40, 80. Another great season from Luka Doncic. This guy wins Rookie of the Year, averaging 6 points per game. How did he win MVP? I don't know. That makes no sense. Let's see the other MVPs and how much they were averaging. So they weren't averaging all that much, so that kind of makes sense. Miles Bridges wins 6th Man of the Year. Wembanyama wins Defensive Player of the Year once again. Reed Shepherd, Most Improved. Ja Morant, Clutch Player. Michael Stauffer, our coach, wins Coach of the Year, and we also win Executive. Luka Doncic does make it on All-NBA First Team. We also get Chet Holmgren on All-NBA Second Team, and that is it for All-NBA awards. But we get 2 players on All-NBA on All-Defensive First Team. We get Chet Holmgren and Amen Thompson. That's going to be it for awards. We, of course, ended the season as a number 1 seed after winning 75 games and losing only 7. Which means we defeated the Warriors' record of, I believe, 73-9. Let's see how our team did this season defensively. So offensively, we were the number 1 team offensively once again, this time averaging 135 points per game. And defensively, we were the 2nd best defensive team, averaging below 110 points allowed per game. So our defense did improve from the previous season, and so did our 3-point shooting. Let me show you guys the player stats here quickly. So the leading scorer was Luka, averaging 27.5 points per game, and then we had Chet Holmgren, who was averaging a career high 26 points per game, and the rest of the team. In the first round, we're taking on the New Orleans Pelicans, and they have DeJounte Murray, Trey Murphy, Nate Dement, Zion Williamson, and Derek Queen. Can we defeat this team? Let's simulate round, and we beat them in 4. And now we're taking on the Golden State Warriors, who still have Stephen Curry. They have Zach LaVine, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and they got Nikola Jokic paired up with Curry over in Golden State. That is insane. I'm not sure how they pulled that off. They may have signed him in free agency. Let's see. And yeah, it looks like they signed him on a 4-year contract in free agency. That is insane. I've never seen Jokic on the Warriors before in 2K simulation. Let's see how things go. Game 1 does go to the Warriors. They defeat us here. Jokic and Curry end up defeating us. Game 2 does go to us. Let's go. Luka with 31 points. We win game 3 as well. Luka had 39 here. And we're up 3-1, and we end up gentlemen sweeping the Warriors to make it to the conference finals, where we take on the Dallas Mavericks. They have themselves Kyrie Irving. Somehow Austin Reeves has ended up in Dallas. They also have Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, and Mitchell Robinson. Cooper Flag is now up to a 95 overall. Last season I believe he was at 89, so this is going to be a different matchup. And they also have Mitchell Robinson, who was on our team in the 25-26 season. Let's see what happens. Game number 1 does go to us. Luka with 28, Chet with 23, and we outscored them by 21 points. We do lose game 2 here. Let's see how their team did. So 80 had 25, Kyrie with 21, Cooper Flag with 19. Game 3 goes to us though. Let's go. We only beat them by 3 points in overtime. Bam had 24 points to lead the way. They tie up the series here. We went to overtime once again and they defeated us by 3 points, and Kyrie Irving is balling out. Right now I have Andrew Nembhard as the starting shooting guard, but I think we're going to switch him with Dyson Daniels. That way Dyson Daniels can guard Kyrie. I came up with the new defensive coach game plan. Let's see what happens here in game 5. We will have home court advantage, and so far we do have the lead here, and it looks like we will be winning. I thought they were going to come back there in the 4th quarter, but luckily we get the win. Chet Holmgren had 35, Luka with 24, and Bam with 20. How was the defense? We made Kyrie turn it over 4 times because of Dyson Daniels' defense. Can we win here in game 6? We won't have home court advantage, but I think we still can win this game. And it looks like we end up winning by 2 points. I thought we were about to lose there in the end, but we came back and one of our players hit a clutch shot. Chet Holmgren 32, Luka 29, and Luka Doncic wins Western Conference Finals MVP, Evan Mobley Eastern Conference Finals MVP, which means we're going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers for the 2nd year in a row. And in their starting lineup, they still have the same players: Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. Game number 1 does go to us. Chet with 31, Amen Thompson 25, Luka 22. We also win game number 2 here. This time Amen Thompson leads the way with 27 points. We win game 3. Luka Doncic had 42, 9, and 10. Amen Thompson had 26, 10, and 6. Are we going to sweep the Cavs? And we do, to win the Los Angeles Lakers a back-to-back championship, with Luka Doncic winning Finals MVP, averaging 28 points per game, 7 rebounds, 12 assists on great efficiency. Let's see how our team did defensively in the playoffs. We played a total of 19 games, and offensively we were the #1 best offensive team, scoring 133 points per game, but we were allowing 121 points per game. That is pretty insane. So we weren't the best defense. We were actually the 4th worst defensive team in the playoffs. But we did go up against the best teams, to be honest. We went up against the Dallas Mavericks and the Warriors, who have Nikola Jokic, and then we went up against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who won the Eastern Conference. Let's take a look at how our players did here in the playoffs. We'll see what the player stats were looking like. So the leading scorer on our team was, of course, Luka Doncic, averaging 27.5 points per game, as well as 13 assists per game in the 19 games that we played. And right behind him was Chet Holmgren, averaging 23 points per game, 18.5 from Bam Adebayo. And here are the NBA final stats. We almost had 4 players averaging 20 points or more. I will be running it back one last season and seeing if we can upgrade our defense even more this offseason. And there's 2 players I have in mind, and I'll show you guys which players I'm talking about. So one of them is Evan Mobley, who won the Defensive Player of the Year in the 24-25 season, and the other is Jaren Jackson Jr., who won the Defensive Player of the Year in the 22-23 season. But the problem with getting both of these players is they run at the power forward position. They can also play the center position, but we already have ourselves good defensive big men and power forwards. So that means we're probably going to have to move on from somebody like Bam Adebayo to go acquire either Evan Mobley or Jaren Jackson Jr. And this offseason's Hall of Fame inductees are Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard, and DeMar DeRozan, and Klay Thompson retires as well, getting his jersey retired by the Warriors, Dame by the Portland Trailblazers, and Curry, of course, by the Warriors as well. This is probably going to be impossible, but Victor Wembanyama has won Defensive Player of the Year the past 3 seasons, in 2026, 27, and 28. So acquiring him on our team will definitely make our defense better. Let's see if we're able to get ourselves Wemby. That means we're probably going to have to trade Chet Holmgren, which I'm fine with if that means we're getting Wemby. So let's see if we can pull off this trade. Or what if we send them Bam Adebayo and Walker Kessler? Let's see if there's a way around this where we can still keep ourselves Chet Holmgren and have Wemby in the front court. That would be insane, having 2 7-footers running around blocking shots. Let me see what we could do here. We're probably going to have to throw in someone like Andrew Nembhard. And who else? Kamara I want to keep on this team. So maybe right now we don't have enough players, but what I'm going to do is go to free agent, sign some players, and then we'll come back and talk to the Spurs. So there's some pretty good players we can sign in free agency that we could use a part of this trade. Michael Porter Jr. I'm going to offer all these players a contract and see if they'll accept. Let's see what Michael Porter Jr. is currently being offered. He's being offered 1 year, $2.5 million. So let's offer him 1 year, $3.6 million, which he should hopefully accept. We'll also throw Nick Claxton a contract and possibly Jordan Poole or Bobby Portis Jr. And all three of them, or all two, Nick Claxton and Bobby Portis will be accepting, but MPJ goes to Miami. I'm pretty sure Miami was offering him less money than us, so I don't know why he would do that, but that's all right. I do think there's a world where we could get ourselves a Wemby, to be honest, especially since we have ourselves a bunch of first round picks that I acquired. So now let's go back and talk to the Spurs. So the trade package I've come up with so far is Bam Adebayo, Andrew Nembhard, and Nick Claxton for Victor Wembanyama. And of course they're going to decline, but what if we throw in some valuable first round picks? And whoa, that pick is valued at 3 stars. Do we have any more valuable first rounders? Let's see. And it looks like the Spurs will still be declining, sadly. What if we throw in someone like Robert Williams? Or somebody else that has some value, maybe Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And yeah, Wemby's probably going to be damn near impossible to get, sadly. What if we throw in Nickeil Alexander-Walker? And yeah, I don't think we're going to be getting Wemby because we're already throwing too much at them. Not too much, but a lot of valuable players and picks at them, and they're not accepting, sadly. We're attempting to go after Evan Mobley from the Cleveland Cavaliers, where we send them Bam Adebayo, Walker Kessler, and Robert Williams III. And honestly, it's okay that we're sending away Walker Kessler, and that's because I signed Rudy Gobert, and we also have ourselves Nick Claxton, who can be the backup center behind Evan Mobley, whose position I'm going to move from power forward to center. Let's see if the Cleveland Cavaliers will accept this trade, which of course they decline, but we do have some first round picks, and 1 first round pick plus those 3 players gets it done. And now we have Evan Mobley, the former Defensive Player of the Year. I'm attempting to bring in Jalen Suggs to LA. He was on the second team all defense in the 2024 season. So let's see if we can bring him over here, and we send the Orlando Magic Andrew Nembhard, Bobby Portis Jr., and Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is an 82 overall, but he's 36 years old, and I'm pretty sure he's only going to continue to regress. So let's go ahead and pull off this trade with the Orlando Magic and get ourselves Jalen Suggs as a brand new backup PG. Here we are at the start of this season, and this is what the 9-man rotation will be looking like. So the starting lineup is going to include Luka Doncic, Dyson Daniels, Amen Thompson, Chet Holmgren, and Evan Mobley. And then off the bench, we have Jalen Suggs, Toumani Camara, Lou Dort, and Nick Claxton. I think this season we can definitely be the #1 best defensive team depending on how we do, but let's go ahead and simulate the first week and see how we play. So we do end up winning all 3 games. We scored 154 points against the Miami Heat, but we did allow them to score 122, and we held the LA Clippers to 92 points here. Luka had 46, Chet Holmgren had 22, Evan Mobley had 19. And so far, Mobley's averaging 18 points per game, 9 boards, 4 assists, 2.5 steals, and nearly 3 blocks per game. We will have 4.5-star overall system proficiency balanced under Michael Stauffer. Luka Doncic wins his 4th MVP in a row, averaging 26 points per game, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, 1.5 steal, and a half a block, shooting 50, 40, 80. Another great season from Luka. He's won an MVP in all 4 seasons of this rebuild. And Tony Levis Jr. wins Rookie of the Year, Jared McCain wins 6th Man of the Year, Victor Wembanyama wins Defensive Player of the Year, Peja wins Most Improved, Devin Booker, Clutch Player of the Year, Michael Stauffer, our head coach, wins Coach of the Year, and we also get Executive. And Luka Doncic makes it on All-NBA First Team. Will we have any other selections? We do get Chet Holmgren on All-NBA Third Team, and Bam Adebayo makes All-NBA Third Team for the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right, let's go. So it looks like the trade helped out the Cavs as well. And we do get Evan Mobley on All-Defensive First Team. We also get Amen Thompson and Chet Holmgren on All-Defensive Second Team. So this time we get 3 players on an All-Defensive team. And of course, we were the number 1 seed, winning a total of 75 games and losing only 7. Let's take a look at the team and player stats here for the regular season. Were we the best defense or not? We were the number 1 best offensive team, and we were allowing 110 points per game, which made us the 3rd best defensive team. Maybe we're not able to be the best defensive team because we have Luka Doncic at the point guard position, but that's totally fine because he makes up with it with his offense, obviously. And this whole video is about building a defensive team around him, which we did a perfect job doing. But now let's see if we can win the 3rd championship of this season. Let me also show you guys the player stats for the regular season. So the leading scorer, of course, was Luka Doncic, averaging 26 points per game. And then we had Chet Holmgren averaging 25.5 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, 2 blocks, shooting 50, 40, 80. Evan Mobley, amazing get for our team. We moved him to the center position to be the starting center, and he's been doing his thing. 1.5 steal, 2 blocks, shooting 56% from the field, 41 from the 3-point line, and here are the rest of the players. Dyson Daniels shot the ball a lot better than the previous season, so hopefully he can do that here in the playoffs as well. We are ready for the playoffs, and in round 1, we're going to be taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, who have Ja Morant, Cedric Coward, Jalen Wells, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Zach Edey. And this is, whoa, they got Sabonis, and Sabonis is down to 81 overall at the age of 32. 2K simulation regresses these players way too quickly. That is pretty insane, being an 81 overall for Sabonis. But let's see what happens here. Game number 1 does go to us, and Mobley leads the way, putting up 32. Chet Holmgren with 31. Luka with 23. Game number 2 goes to us as well. This time it's Thompson leading the way, followed by Chet Holmgren. Game 3 goes to us, and we sweep the Memphis Grizzlies. And now we're taking on the Phoenix Suns, who have Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Ryan Dunn, Cameron Boozer, and Kaman Maluach. They do have players like DeJounte Murray coming off of their bench as well. Let's see if the Phoenix Suns will give us more of a challenge than the Memphis Grizzlies. Game 1 does go to us. Chet with 22. Luka Doncic had a 19-point triple-double, 15 assists. Game 2, we also end up winning. Chet leads the way with 30 points, and so far he's averaging 25 points per game. Luka had 26 points, 16 assists. Luka is a great playmaker. We do end up losing game 3 here, and they beat us by 21 points. Luka played great, but the rest of the team kind of struggled, which is all right. And they tie up the series. Whoa. So the Phoenix Suns are pushing us here. They beat us by 5 points, and now it's going to a game 5. Will we be winning game 5 is the question. Perhaps I should come up with the defensive coach game plan for Devin Booker, because I don't want Luka Doncic guarding Devin Booker, so I would much rather have someone like Amen Thompson or Dyson Daniels on him. I came up with an amazing coach game plan in my opinion. Let's see if we can win this game. We will have home court advantage, and we start off the first half pretty strong defensively, and we do end up winning, holding them to 101 points. Chet Holmgren dropped 37-12. Evan Mobley with 25, Luka Doncic with 14. Luka Doncic has been struggling offensively here in the playoffs. He's shooting 29% from the 3-point line and 43% from the field, whereas the regular season he's shooting 50, 40, 80. But that's all right. Hopefully he can pick it up here. How was the defense? So Jalen Green still shot 8 of 14, and Devin Booker was still good as well, but it looks like we were able to slow down the rest of their team. Can we win here in 6? And we do, to advance to the conference finals. We played good defense here, holding Devin Booker to 7 of 20 shooting, 4 of 11 for Boozer. And how was our team? Luka Doncic had 33 and 16. Chet had 20 and 12. Evan Mobley 18 and 12. Thompson 12 and 11. And in the conference finals, we're taking on the number 6 seed, the Golden State Warriors, who still have themselves Nikola Jokic, and it looks like they brought Jordan Poole back to Golden State. Okay. They also have Robert Dillingham, so let me just read out their starting lineup. Robert Dillingham, Jordan Poole, Caleb Wilson, Asa Noel, and Nikola Jokic, and this is their bench unit. So they basically have all of their players an 80 overall or higher, so this isn't a bad team whatsoever. And of course they have Nikola Jokic, and a team with Jokic, anything is possible. It looks like they also drafted Asa Noel, but he's not really all that good. He's only averaging 10 points per game. Can we defeat this team? Game 1 does go to us. Chet leads the way with 33, Luka with 27 and 13. And game number 2 does go to the Golden State Warriors. Jokic 1 rebound shy of a triple-double. Luka had 25, and his three-point shot still continues to struggle. Chet had 15, double-double from Thompson. And yeah, Luka Doncic, I don't know what's going on with his three-point shot, but the struggles still continue. Game 3 goes to the Warriors as well, and now things are looking wrong. We need to come up with a defensive coach game plan, most definitely, before we advance to the next game. Well, coming up with a defensive coach game plan, I was looking at the Warriors players, and they do have some really good offensive players. Like this guy's averaging 14, Poole's averaging 14, Caleb Wilson not so much, but Jonathan Kuminga is 16, Robert Dillingham is playing good offensively. They have this dude here. They have a lot of players, and some of them are computer generated players who are absolutely balling out for this team. But let's see if we can tie up the series here. The Warriors will have home court advantage. I came up with a defensive coach game plan, and clearly it worked. We held them to 99 points. Luka had 24, 24 from Chet, and 22 from Thompson. How was our defense? There we go. We held Nikola Jokic to 5 of 15 shooting, Jordan Poole to 3 of 9. Can we go on to win this next game as well? We will have home court advantage, and we are winning so far, but they push back and beat us by 2 points. And Jordan Poole it was this time who balled out, putting up 33 points on us. Jokic had 27. How was our team doing? Luka's struggles continue. Well, no, never mind. He shot 9 of 15. He played really well here, but sadly, we still fall short. Our defense just wasn't there. I changed up some player minutes, shot tendencies. Will that help us win here in this Game 6, I believe this is? If we win this game, we push it to a Game 7. If we lose, we go home. The Warriors will have home court advantage, and so far they do have the lead, but we push back and take it from them. We're up by 8 points to slow this down in the fourth quarter. We're up by 9. They are starting to push back here towards the end of this game, and we're up by 5 points, and yeah, we end up winning this game. We win by 2 points. They almost came back there in the fourth quarter, though. Chet Holmgren had 24, Mobley 22, Dyson Daniels 21. And how was our defense? We played good defense on this guy right here and on Jordan Poole, but Nikola Jokic was still unstoppable. It's time for Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals, and also in the Eastern Conference Finals, there's a Game 7 going on between the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers, who we sent Bam Adebayo to. So clearly the Bam Adebayo trade is also helping out the Cavs just as much as the Mobley trade is helping out our team. Bam is over there averaging 22 points per game. I'm pretty sure he's their second scoring option. He's actually their first scoring option, even ahead of Donovan Mitchell and Garland. But let's see what happens here in Game 7 of our game. We do have home court advantage, luckily, and we start off really strong here. Whoa, it looks like we're going to be winning this game without a doubt. We hold the Warriors to 97 points, and our defense was most definitely there. Chet had 28 points, Luka 15 points, still struggled offensively, but he did make really well. 0 turnovers. How was the defense? Jokic was still good, but Kuminga 4 of 13, I'll take it. Luka Doncic wins Western Conference Finals MVP, averaging a 22-point double-double, and Josh Giddey wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP, which means the Cleveland Cavaliers lost in Game 7 to the Chicago Bulls. And the Chicago Bulls have themselves Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Hami Alexander, Jamie Alexander, Matej Buzelis, and Kristaps Porzingis, and this is their bench unit. Cason Wallace, Okongwu, and Devin Vassell, as well as Noah Essengay. Let's see what happens here. Game number 1 does go to us. Mobley with 36 points, Luka with 38 and 10, Chet Holmgren with 26 and 10. Game number 2, we also end up winning. Chet Holmgren with 29 points, Amen Thompson with 26, so Luka had a double-double, and just like that, we're up 3-0. Luka Doncic drops 39, 8, and 16. Chet Holmgren had 34, Evan Mobley had 22 and 11. Will we be sweeping the Chicago Bulls? Let's see. We do sweep the Chicago Bulls to win our third championship in a row, making that a three-peat. The Los Angeles Lakers have won their third championship in 3 seasons, with Luka Doncic winning Finals MVP, averaging 30 points per game, 6 rebounds, 13 assists. 2 steals, shooting 50, 48, 60. Amazing. Now let me show you guys the team and player stats. Also, I forgot to show you guys the player stats for game 4. Evan Mobley had 28, Luka 24, and Chet Holmgren with 24 as well. Let's see how our team did defensively here in the playoffs. Were we the best defensive team or not? We were the best offensive team, and we were the 3rd best defensive team. Last playoffs, we were one of the worst defensive teams, so clearly that's a big bonus here. We were also making 13 3-pointers a game. Now let me show you guys the player stats before I end off this video. We played a total of 21 games, and Chet Holmgren was the leading scorer, not Luka Doncic. He was averaging 26 points per game. Luka Doncic's efficiency was not as well as it was in the regular season, so that's why he obviously wasn't scoring as much. And also, we have a lot of help here, so he doesn't really need to score all that many points as he's playmaking instead. 24 from Luka, 20 from Evan Mobley, great get for our team, helped us out a ton. 15 from Thompson, 11.5 from Dyson Daniels. And here are the NBA final stats. We played a total of 4 games. Luka led the way, 30, 28 from Chet, and 28 from Evan Mobley. And now that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It helps out my videos a ton. And also subscribe if you're new for more NBA 2K26 rebuilds. That helps out my channel a ton as well. Click here on the screen to watch my latest upload. And until next time, it's your boy Dragon, and I'm out. Peace.